Friends, we have a deal on the border. It's a deal. It's a done deal. We have figured this out. You've been watching what's going on. The Senate committee came out with a bipartisan border package. You heard consternation over the last few days. You heard arguing back and forth over whether or not it was going to work. And today we get the word. We have a deal, and that deal is no deal. So basically, we know what's happening at the border now. It's exactly what has been happening for the last couple of years. If there's been any question about what would happen at the border with the package that was proposed, we know nothing. It's going to be the same way it has been. So rest assured that everything you're familiar with when it comes to border security will remain in place. And I just want to say thank you, Congress. Thank you for not surprising us. Thank you for providing us with exactly what we expected, and that is bupkis.
We knew it was going to die in the House if it got there.
Yeah.
Didn't even get there.
No, died in the Senate. In fact, headline on our website, KTAR.FM, Senate Republicans scuttle border security package they had demanded from Democrats. And I thought this was, first of all, Joe, you and I have pointed out that it was a near $120 billion package. And of the $120 billion, only $20 billion went to the border. It was not a border deal, but that's where things got hung up, right? It's more of a foreign aid package. Ukraine, Israel, and Indo-Pacific, which
they had to cram a lot of other stuff in there.
That was kind of Taiwan, and like I said before, South China Sea.
Do you do some light reading before bed to get into that?
Very light reading, yeah. And I was thinking more and more about this because there's going to be a lot of finger pointing back and forth, deservedly so, and we'll dive more into the why on why you would turn this down in our next segment. But I was thinking of an analogy, and I thought this. It's like walking away. It's like going to a car dealer, right? Mm-hmm. And you go, I know I want this car.
This is a good analogy, too, because most people, they immediately feel regret stepping foot on the car lot a lot of times. They already feel, it's like politics a lot of times.
So you've decided I want a car.
Mm-hmm.
I want this car, right? Maybe you're like 90% of Arizonans and you want a white mid-sized SUV.
Okay.
Which I found out after I bought a white mid-sized SUV that 90% of Arizona has one. Bought that car 2 weeks ago, have literally tried to get into someone else's car 3 times since I bought it because it looks like every other car out there.
You're on the used car lot or the new car lot, though. You're there.
And I've decided I want this car.
Okay.
And so I tell the car dealer, I'm willing to give you, listen, the sticker on this car is $42,000. I will take it off your hands right now for $38,500. And the car, the salesman says, let me talk to my manager, right? And you go, so you're going, I like this car, although he's off talking to his manager, and you go, the seat isn't the nice quilted leather that I wanted. It's just cloth. This car doesn't have the moonroof that I really wanted. Well, now that I look at it, this car doesn't have this. I don't know. So the salesman comes back and goes, great news. I just talked to my boss, and I think we're going to be able to get this done. $38,500, it's yours. And you go, yeah, you know what? I've had a little time to reflect on this, and actually it's not the car that I wanted because it doesn't have some of those things that I did want. Mm-hmm. And so you walk away from the deal that you proposed. So, again, I'm trying to find...
that is a very good analogy.
Thank you, because I'm trying to look at this thing and go, my God, we have to have something. And so if I use the car dealer analogy, like I need new wheels. I found the car I thought I wanted. The more I looked at it, it's not exactly the car I wanted, but I still need new wheels. We need border security. Mm-hmm. There's a proposal by the GOP, and then once they're told, yeah, you can have the deal, they say, no, I don't want that deal now.
Because it's not good enough.
I'm trying to find a way that this isn't just about politics. Because the cynic in me says, yeah, it's all politics. Yeah, it's all about postponing the security of America until November.
And what those who are now reneging on the deal are saying, I think, is it's not enough. Like you said, where there's no moonroof, there's no some of those other things.
Yeah.
And so what I don't understand is, hey, why didn't you pass it and then work to add some more of those things in? We know that bills always grow in price. You always add more to it. They never get cheaper. So they always pile more in there. So why not, hey, we've got the framework here.
That is such a great point, because unlike a car, it's a lot easier to say, okay, well, you know what? We want to decrease the asylum claims to $2,500.
Oh, you want that extended warranty? Yeah, we're going to tack that in
that's
here.
a whole lot easier to do than it is to reupholster your seats, right? It's actually easier for Congress to change border security than it would be for you and I to add adaptive cruise control to a car.
Yeah, and not just change border security. Hey, beef it up a little.
Sure.
Make it a little better.
Yeah, I'm with you. More judges, more border patrol, all those other things that people want. Yeah, you can do that.
But you're right. I agree. It is all about politics here.
Yeah.
Because if you really wanted it to work, you would stay at the table. You would be saying, hey, you know what? We were close. This got out of committee, a bipartisan committee. We were close. We're going to take another shot at this. We're going to get closer instead of no deal.
Yeah, again, back to our car analogy. It'd be like talking to the salesman and going, hey, look, I looked at this car a little longer. It doesn't have some of the stuff I wanted. Thanks for coming to me with the deal and saying we could get it. Do you have anything else on the lot?
Or, hey, what about, we said 38.5. How about 37 now? Could you go back and check with your boss again and do that? Not just, you know what, I'm going to leave right now and I'm not coming back.
So you're saying continue the negotiations.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then
I'm not hearing that or seeing that anywhere.
Yeah. Do you feel like,
at least with the border
side of this, actually, you had a story that you provided moments before we got on the air here. What was the one that you had there?
So the gist of it is that the White
my
House
reading glasses.
does
By the way, don't
support-
turn 40, Joe. You have to have reading glasses.
Bad news. I'm 40 plus 1. The White House supports the national security package vote without the border provisions. So all of that border deal that you and I were talking about, the $120 billion deal.
Hold on, wait a minute.
Yeah, the White House is now saying, hey, just forget that border piece of it. We're going to try to push through the rest of it, and we're pretty sure that we can get bipartisan support to at least get 60 votes to get it out of the Senate.
Wait a minute.
Yeah.
Is my memory correct that the whole, like, Biden wanted money for Ukraine, and the House Republicans said, we're not going to authorize any money for Ukraine or Israel, if I recall correctly at the time, unless we get a border deal done. So then we get border provisions, or at least some border package thrown in.
Border deal that had all the other, foreign aid.
Which came through a bipartisan committee.
Yep.
Was authored by a Republican, a Democrat, and an independent. And now
it's, hey, let's strip the border piece out. And so is this Biden sitting there and going, hey, well, we're really going to prove that we were at least going to try to do something. So we're going to push through all the other stuff to at least get it out of the Senate.
All right, I feel like this blows our car analogy out of the water. Let me throw another analogy at you then.
Look at you, Mr. Analogy.
Okay. So the House GOP says we're not going to authorize a penny for Ukraine, Israel, Taiwan, anything else, unless you secure the border. So a bill comes out of the Senate committee that says, look, this will do all of those things. And the House GOP says, no. To which the Senate GOP says, there's no point because the House won't do it. So we're all going to be unified. Forget it. We're not passing anything. Even though that's what they asked for to start with. Is this like asking someone to marry you and then standing them up at the altar? I mean, forget that my manager said I could give you $38,500 in the car. Now we're at the point, Joe, where it's like, will you marry me? Please marry me. I will never date anyone else again. Please marry me. And you say, okay. And I go, great. The wedding is on. How soon do you want to get married, Joe? You want to, like, next week? The wedding is next Thursday. It'll be the first on-air wedding between hosts on KTAR. And then come Thursday, Joe doesn't show up. No, I don't show up. I'm the one that asked you to marry me, and then I don't show up. I'd be standing you up at the altar when I asked you to marry me.
I appreciate your effort to go down the analogy road, but it's
You feel like I missed on that one, too?
No.
Okay.
It's so convoluted of what's going on there that, to me, it is beyond basic analogies. I think you've summed it up pretty well, but it's just like, what?
It feels chaotic to me.
Thanks for watching The Chris and Joe Show. Click to see more from Chris and Joe, and tap the button in the middle to subscribe to KTAR News.